Redirecting. Okay, we should be good now. Let me fix the co-host thing. There we go.
And then you can mute, right?
Yes.
Because everyone can hear you now. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy you're here. Good morning. We are talking about core frequency activations, living your highest reality now with Dr. Siobhán Ewert. Hi, Siobhán.
Hi, Carissa. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Yes, so happy to have you. And I'm Carissa Sims, live event host for Humanities Team, and I'm coming to you live from Lafayette, Colorado. And thank you all for joining us. This is a benefit for Stream Plus members. So if you're not a member, we would highly encourage you to join. And this is an interactive Q&A program and also an experience, and you'll have the opportunity to connect directly with Siobhán. And boy, are you in for a treat today. So let me introduce Dr. Siobhán Ewert. She is here to awaken the living memory of who you truly are, an unbroken extension of Source, whole before the first story was told. Through her core frequency activation, she opens the direct pathway for you to return to this original clarity, where creation flows without distortion and your life becomes an undivided expression of your essence. Born of both worlds, trained as a physician, scientist, and award-winning researcher in computational neuroscience, and forged through decades of spiritual discipline, Dr. Ewert bridges the precision of science with the immediacy of direct knowing. Her work is not conceptual. It is an energetic transmission that anchors into the body, dissolving what is false, awakening what is true, and stabilizing it as your lived reality. It almost feels like a new timeline we might be jumping onto today, right, Siobhán?
Yeah, that's actually the experience that I have when I give these core frequency activations. That's very accurate.
Okay. Well, get ready for a ride, everybody. And we'd love to hear where you're connecting from. So feel free to say hi and put it in the chat. And also, if you have any questions. So Siobhán serves advanced seekers, leaders, and visionaries who are ready to live from the unshakable ground of their core frequency and create from there without compromise. Her calling is simple: to restore you to the place within that was never lost so that you may live, lead, and create as source moving through human form. Well, I'd love to dive in, and also maybe you're available if the audience has any questions or comments. What do you think?
Absolutely, yes. Let's do this.
Well, let's talk about this session today, core frequency. So you speak about a person's core frequency as the vibrational essence of who they truly are. Can you describe what that is and how someone might recognize when they're living from it?
Yes. So what I call, or what I have come to discover in my own self as core frequency, is basically our undistorted essence, our undistorted resonance. It's our own signal that carries our wholeness. It's the you, the me, the us, who we were before any distortion touched us, any story, before we became adapted to who we thought we needed to be in order to survive in this world. So, and we know when we are in our core frequency, when life flows easily, when we feel clarity in our body, when our nervous system is relaxed and can actually receive our own inner knowing instead of being plugged into, collective patterns of fear, of survival, of scarcity. So once the body feels safe, we automatically switch into our core frequency, And when the core frequency is active, we feel at ease, we feel connected to our inner knowing, we feel joyful, there's peace in our bodies. Our yeses are yeses, our noes are noes. So that's it's just our natural frequency, our natural state of being before any distortion.
Mm, okay. I like that last sentence. Very clear and simple. So, what would you describe as the path from concept to embodiment? What is different about core frequency activations that makes them a lived, embodied reality rather than just an idea, something esoteric?
Yeah. So in the core frequency activations, we start and we end with the body. I've done various different spiritual practices, and some of them were like remained concepts. And the problem with concepts is that when they're not embodied, our subconscious lives in the body and makes most of our decisions. So the moment a spiritual truth remains as a concept, it's not anchored into our body. So it's a bit more difficult to live from this truth. But once the body opens and receives our core frequency, which is how these activations are designed, they become our natural state of living without having to overthink, is this right or wrong? Because the body becomes our leading force, basically. So that's why all the work that I do always anchors into the body so that it's sustainable and we feel at peace.
I see. That's an important piece of learning that it's not just in your head, it's in your cellular memory.
Exactly. Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay. So let's touch on clearing distortion. So in your work, you talk about dissolving distortions and conditioning. How does this process unfold during an activation, and what can participants expect to feel or experience in the moment? And we'll get to today, right?
Yes, absolutely. So distortions at the very core are basically a misperception about who we are. And when we harbor distortions in our mind, we call them negative beliefs that then become our negative operating system in the world. When we store distortions in our body, they become trapped life force that we call trauma. So after having done 10 years of deep healing, going into so many woundings and doing so many different techniques, the core frequency activations are the culmination of these 10 years where we actually don't touch the wounding itself, but we activate what's here already. We reconnect with our original signal and shift into the core frequency. Once we shift into the truth of who we are, our own light starts shining on distortions and simply recognizes them as untrue. And they simply dissolve into the stream of that light. So there's no forcing, there's no poking. It's a state of ease where everything is seen and loved and back into coherence. And since we very strongly work with the body, the core frequency gets anchored in the body and starts liberating like you said, the cells from the trapped life force, from the freeze of that trauma, the effects that trauma has on our very body and on our nervous system. So core frequencies are basically a field of coherence that re-entrain the nervous system to safety. And once the nervous system feels safe, it automatically stops clenching, And in that release, distortions naturally are released through love, through patience.
Oh, wonderful. And it feels like you're emitting those frequencies now, maybe because it's a part of your being. Like when you speak, it feels very peaceful and loving.
Mm. Mm. Thank you.
Mhm. You're welcome.
Mm.
So, in regards to the larger field, you say this work is not only personal, but planetary. How does reconnecting with one's own core frequency contribute to the collective shift that we're living through right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it contributes in so many different ways. First of all, once we restore or we remember and re-anchor our core frequency in the body, we start making sovereign choices. Once we make sovereign choices, we stop following the collective patterns of fear and start coming from wholeness. So every choice we make when we are anchored in the core frequency comes from wholeness and will restore wholeness. So that's one part. The other part is that the core frequency activations, like I said, restore the nervous system to coherence, to safety. And I don't know if you have ever been close to a body which feels very safe, where the nervous system is at ease. Immediately, your whole being relaxes. It's like you entrain to that pattern of resonance. So basically, every person who anchors in their core frequency becomes a resonant node for others, to allow them to remember that it's actually safe to be themselves. It's possible and it's safe and it's joyful. So that way it ripples outward, and it becomes a planetary impact. It has planetary impact.
Ah, I see. I see. Well, at this point, I would love to open it up to our audience. If there's any questions or comments that you have for Siobhán, let me know. You can put it in the comments, or you can raise your hand and we'll bring you up on stage. And if we don't have any questions, take your time. We still have a lot of time. You can put it in the comments. What if we went into an actual core frequency activation?
Absolutely.
Do you feel ready for that? Okay, get ready,
Absolutely.
everyone.
So, just some introductory remarks for everyone who has a question. Feel free to keep asking. The first thing I want to say is that there's no foreign energy that will enter your system. This is simply a field of coherence that is held for you to reconnect with your own original system. Signal. That's the first thing I want to say. So this is absolutely safe. The second thing is that many people, when they start remembering and feeling viscerally who they are in truth, they can have somatic reactions, like some start shaking, some start crying. So all of this is very safe, very welcome. You just allow it to happen. I just want to make you aware that this can happen, so that when it comes, you're not disturbed by it, or that there's no reason to fear any natural reaction that the body wants to show when you get back in touch with your original core frequency.
Yes, and if anyone feels uncomfortable, you could turn off your camera, and that way you can feel safe to be as vulnerable or move however way. I know when I'm getting upgraded or shifting, my body tends to rotate, so I move in circles. So, okay, we're ready.
That's unique. I've never heard that one.
Okay, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so should we start? Great. So the core frequency it consists of 6 parts, and today we will just do the first part that fills an entire session. It's called the central vertical activation, and it unfolds in 3 different parts. The first part is a grounding part. Like I said, we begin and we end with the body. So we will take around, sorry, Carissa, how much time do we have left on this call, just so that I know how to
30 minutes.
30. Okay, so we'll take around 10 minutes to ground the body. You can either sit or you can lay down for this part. For the second part, that is a short protection ritual that encloses your own private space. That will last 2-3 minutes, and then we will dive into the actual activation that will last around 15 minutes and will end with an anchoring of your original signal into the body. So for those deciding to lay down after the embodiment part, I will ask you to come back and sit up straight for you to receive your own vertical signal. Any questions so far? I will guide you through every step.
Don't
Heiko's
see any.
asking,
Let's see. I have Heiko. Do I need to see you, or is listening enough?
listening is enough. That's
Yes,
fine. You don't
because
have to
it's the
see.
frequency.
Exactly. It's actually better if you have your eyes closed. That's conducive to connecting more deeply with your own body, with your own signal. Beautiful. Okay, so like I said, for the grounding part, which will last around 10 minutes, you can either stay sitting or laying down. Make sure you're comfortably. Either way, if you sit, make sure your back is comfortably straight, comfortably erect. And then just follow my voice. So whenever you're ready, start to connect, to become aware of your own breath. Become aware of your in-breath, how your in-breath expands your chest. And then gently releasing that in-breath, simply allowing the out-breath, the exhale to happen by itself. Start breathing naturally. And as you breathe, use your breath to connect deeper with your body. Use your breath to allow your own mind to sink into your body. To allow your mind to be deeply connected and anchored in your own body. Feel the in-breath, feel the out-breath. If you want, you can place just for a moment one hand on your heart, one hand on your solar plexus, and just feeling the effect of conscious breathing on your body, on your nervous system. And then with your next in-breath, allow your in-breath to move into your heart space. With every in-breath, connecting with your heart space, the seat of unconditional love, your own